what is Upanishya Gocara?
Okay. There can be a little more understanding of the truth because it's so very subtle and very profound. The reality which arises and experience that which is experienced. In Pali term, it is aramana. Whenever there is a moment of experiencing, there must be the object which is experienced, and the object which is experienced has a special term, aramana. So now, whenever there is the reality which arises, the experience is citta, it experiences aramana. That is the word for any kind of aramana. That's why the aramana is conditioned too, because citta arises to experience. But what is the object of experiencing? Depending on many conditions too. When there's no hearing about the truth, about the word of the Buddha at all, there are aramana in general all the time. But we use different words to develop more and more intention or attending to the object as just what is it or what is the truth of it. It is Gocara for those who heard the teachings of the Buddha. Before that, there is no such object at all. No hearing about the word, the term, about life, about seeing, and on and on. But the word of teachings about the truth taught by the Buddha, we use the word Gocara. So Buddha's object is understanding what is there. Well, when there's no understanding, it's general aramana. But when there is hearing again and again, and it becomes more familiar to understand what is there right now, that is the culture of the Buddha and those who listen to the teachings to understand that it's that which is to be known or directly aware or realized until it becomes the Upanishya strong enough to condition moment of arakha, protect from akusala. Because now, at moment of seeing, there is ignorance and attachment, akusala, depending on condition of each one's accumulation, what will be there as a seeing. But the one who listens to the teachings of the Buddha understand that at moment of someone talk badly and it cannot condition anger at all, it is that which understand the truth. The object right then can be known, and at that moment it is arakha Gocara, and after that, on and on and on, on and on and on, there are times to just have more and more moment of understanding what is there in life, naturally, gradually, so very common. So all depends on the development of understanding what is there, which has to be developed gradually, little by little. So we understand now what is the Buddha's Gocara, what he experiences more than any object, the truth of what is there.
So Ajahn, that the difference between aramana and Gocara.
In general, Gocara and aramana, in truth, the nature of it is the same. It is that which is experienced, aramana, right?
Yes, Ajahn.
So in the beginning, Gocara is aramana for sure. But why do we use two different words? Gocara is that which is often more than other objects that is experienced. That's why in some places say, which object is Gocara of seeing. Is that right? Seeing does not have other object at all. It has only that as its object. So it is a Gocara of or for seeing alone. Is that right?
Yes.
Seeing doesn't have other object. It's always there. That's why object is very frequent most of the time for other citta. But for Chakunyana or seeing self, it experiences only that aramana. So that aramana is the object as Gocara for it. It doesn't go other place or experience other objects. That's why we have to understand the subtlety, the profound, or the level of each word, which just pointed to the truth of each moment. And that is a general understanding. Aramana and Gocara is the same, but when we use the word Gocara, it's more often, more frequent than other objects. And now, why there is the Upanishya Gocara? Because without the object of that which is understood little by little, can there be the natural decisive support to condition it to arise again and again? Even if it's not very often, it begins to develop. That's why the meaning of it is not just ordinary Gocara for seeing, hearing, or for anyone to have the experience, the object of eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and thought as usual. It begins to have another object with sati. It's the same object, but the understanding is there to understand the truth of that which hasn't been understood before. That's why when we talk about the seeing, hearing, smelling, or whatever, it's the object of understanding taught by the Buddha himself, to know that it's different from when it sees and doesn't have any understanding, and the understanding of that which now sees begins to be object of understanding by the Buddha and by his teachings. For the other to have such aramana, to be object more frequent or little more, depending on conditions. Just develop considering the truth of what is there around in all aspects, to conform with what Buddha said in different places in Tipitaka. When he talks about the Gocara of seeing, it means that seeing does not experience other objects. It experiences only that which is seen, that which impinges on the eye base only. But when it's the object of understanding, that object is Gocara, which should be more and more until it becomes to be the Upanishya, strong enough to condition moment of understanding the seeing, understanding the object which is seen, not as before, not as no understanding of it as before at all. The same object is there, but we use the term Gocara to mean that it's not just ordinary for everyone, but for the understanding, realizing, taught by the Buddha, realized by his enlightenment. Just one Gocara at a time, see. So now, is there any idea or other idea or doubt about what is meant by Upanishya Gocara? And now, the understanding of that which is seen to be studied, to realize the truth, it is the Upanishya Gocara, developed and rooted a little more to grow up, to bear the result later. Without the Upanishya Gocara, no understanding of the reality which is appearing at all.
Thank you. I very much appreciate that.
That's why the same word, but there can be a little more understanding by a little more training to be careful considering in all aspects. So when we talk about this, we know what is meant by Gocara of seeing, or Gocara of Buddha's teachings, of the reality which is there, can be known as it is. The more hearing, it is the Upanishya Bhajya, to understand a little more. Until it's araka, see, until it is Upanipanda. So now we know that without understanding, there cannot be any understanding what is explained or taught by the teachings of the Buddha, right? Even the word Gocara, without understanding it, there can be doubt. Why this is Gocara and is it Upanishad Gocara? Because now, without understanding, there is also the Upanishad. See, so Nisaya is what is there as support because one is so used to it at moment of such thinking, one used to think that way and so on. So even not as Upanishad Gocara, Upanishad is a moment of habit, taking as usual all the time, but it's different from a moment of hearing the teaching. And without understanding about it, there can be doubt about why that is also Gocara of Vinyana and so on, and why Aramana and why on and on. But when there's understanding, there can be understanding of what is said or explained anywhere in the Tipitaka. Otherwise, it's just thinking about it or taking it different, but how different it is. It has to be wise considering or careful considering, and now hearing the teachings, the training to be careful about what is there as it is, to understand that the teachings of the Buddha is the absolute truth. Nobody can change whatever is there as it is and then gone. That's why learn to understand the truth and read the Pitaka. And when there is understanding, there can be the understanding of the meaning of what is there, explained or written or taught by the Buddha. Because it's so very profound. If there's no fundamental understanding or the intellectual understanding at all, it cannot understand the path, because the path is understanding. So now, this moment, it is Upanishad Pajaya, right? And Upanishad Gocara. At moment of understanding, akusala cannot arise. So there can be the understanding of the relation between this moment and the parami and the development of understanding until it's there another level, directly understand with awareness of what is there. And right understanding, understand exactly, directly what is there as it is. Different level of understanding. But in the beginning, it's so very little, not much, and very little of understanding until it develops years and years ago. The test is this moment. Is there any direct understanding or seeing? It's there. It's not self. It's conditioned. It experiences only one Gocara, the visible object. But does it appear as it is? Not yet. Until a little more understanding of what is there, letting go, clinging gradually, secretly, subtly, and that is the path. No other path at all. Because understanding has to understand the truth of what is there now. Otherwise, there cannot be any understanding of anything at all. Is that right? Just consider it. At this moment, so rare, it's not understood. So how can there be any understanding of what will come when there's no understanding at all of this moment? So right understanding is so very truthful. It knows how much understanding, none, yet, a little, secretly, slightly, unknown at all, like holding the knife's handle. See, that's why now it's the path leading stage by stage to realize the truth, which is there as it is. Patient parami, khanti parami, satya parami, until it is upanibandha Gocara. Never forget, it's there by conditions, naturally, a little more, but so rare when we use the term a little more again, so rare too. That's why no doubt about how many years is one who heard the teaching, develop parami, to let go ignorance in daily life now, to condition understanding a little bit of that which appears gradually, little by little. Is that true?
Yes, Ajahn.
Parami, Ariya Satya, the path, then there is understanding, little by little. So it's time now. Sawadee ka.